Jim Davidson challenges Channel 4 interviewer sparks debate on free speech and British values. In a fiery yet surprisingly candid exchange on live television, comedian and political commentator Jim Davidson sat down with Channel 4's Krishnan Guru-Murthy in what quickly became one of the most talked-about interviews of the week. The conversation, originally meant to cover Davidson's views on cancel culture and British identity, veered into deeply emotional territory, highlighting the ongoing national debate around free speech, media bias, and the role of comedy in modern society. Rather than a typical back-and-forth, the interview unfolded as a cultural clash between two sharply different worldviews. Davidson, known for his unfiltered comedy and conservative values, didn't mince his words as he pushed back on what he described as the choking political correctness gripping the UK. Guru-Murthy, a seasoned interviewer and respected journalist, remained composed but visibly challenged by Davidson's blunt approach. The interview touched on hot-button issues from immigration and British traditions to the rise of social media outrage and the limits of comedic expression. Davidson, who has often been at the center of controversy, argued that Britain is losing its voice, claiming that everyday citizens feel afraid to speak their minds without facing backlash. "People aren't allowed to joke anymore," Davidson said. "If you say the wrong thing, it's career over. But if we're censoring everything, are we even a free country?" This sparked a passionate reply from Guru-Murthy, who noted that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences, especially when public figures have platforms that can influence millions. The two went back and forth in a civil but tense manner, each embodying a larger cultural current in British life. What made the exchange particularly gripping was its sincerity. While both men disagreed on key issues, there was a genuine effort, however, strained to understand one another's positions. As the interview circulated online, reactions were split. Supporters of Davidson praised him for saying what many Brits feel but are too afraid to voice, while critics called his views outdated or provocative. On the other hand, Channel 4 faced its own share of scrutiny. Some viewers accused the network of setting Davidson up for confrontation, while others commended Guru-Murthy for holding his ground. This interview adds fuel to a broader conversation about the editorial direction of mainstream broadcasters. Are they truly reflecting the diversity of thought in modern Britain? Or are they leaning too heavily into progressive narratives at the expense of balance? Davidson supporters argue that the media often frames conservative voices as inherently problematic, while others believe platforms like Channel 4 are simply doing their job by asking hard questions and holding public figures accountable. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the discussion was its focus on comedy and how it fits into today's social climate. Davidson, whose career spans decades and includes both acclaim and controversy, lamented what he sees as a growing hostility toward comedians who don't follow modern political norms. "There was a time when we could all laugh at ourselves," he said. "Now if you make the wrong joke, it's a hate crime." Guru-Murthy pushed back, questioning whether certain jokes cross ethical lines or punch down on vulnerable communities. This part of the conversation struck a nerve online, reigniting debates around who gets to define what's offensive and whether offense should be grounds for cancellation. The aftermath of the broadcast saw trending hashtags, viral clips, and an avalanche of opinion pieces. Political commentators, journalists, and everyday viewers all weighed in. Some praised Davidson's defiance of woke culture, while others felt the interview exposed the limits of his worldview. Interestingly, a segment of the public praised both men for engaging in the kind of difficult conversation that's often missing from public life. They disagreed, sure, one viewer wrote on X, formerly Twitter, but they didn't shout over each other. That's rare these days. This sentiment echoes a broader desire for more open dialogue in an increasingly polarized climate. While the interview had its share of uncomfortable moments, it was also a reminder that respectful disagreement is still possible and perhaps necessary for a healthy democracy. The clash between Jim Davidson and Krishnan Guru-Murthy was more than a TV moment, it was a cultural flashpoint. It held up a mirror to the state of British discourse and reminded us just how divided, yet passionate, the public remains on issues of speech, identity, and national values. Whether you agree with Davidson or not, his appearance sparked a meaningful debate. And in a media landscape often dominated by echo chambers, that alone makes the exchange worth watching. What do you think? Is comedy under threat, or are some jokes simply out of bounds? Are media institutions doing their job or silencing voices that challenge the status quo? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and like for more balanced political coverage.